a way of life. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Just wanted to come on here and talk about career and education. I was having a conversation with my sister who's thinking about going back to college. She's a school teacher, so there's specific classes that she needed to take that she was unable to find in a college setting, but was able to find exactly the classes she needed and through her job. This is something that's going to come up a lot more often. People are becoming more interested in more independent career and business options. And people are getting tired of the staggering, oppressive energy that comes with working a 9 to 5. So jobs will begin to offer more certification programs, apprenticeships will become more popular, and working from home will become more popular. College is really going to become irrelevant. Now, obviously, for the careers and businesses that you're interested in, that need a degree, will still be very relevant, but on a grander scale, as a people, we're evolving, and people are really getting tired of the debt that comes with going to college, the inconsistency of classes that comes with going to college, and the time it takes. You got to spend a lot of years in school, and it's almost unnecessary. Um, I was listening to Dr. Phil Valentine on Brother Rich's show talk about how college was set up as a holding place so that people who already had jobs had time to move up because of the time it takes to go through school. And the people who already had higher up jobs can keep those positions longer because of the time it takes to go through school. Think about that for a minute. A liberal arts degree set up for you to explore and research and learn other options to understand or grasp or build a foundation of what it is you eventually want to go into. Um, it helps with ideas and decision making, and it's the process of beginning to start your own business, like a vocational school. That first year you do the exploratory program, you go through all the different shops that they offer, and then you choose at the end of the year what it is that what interested you most to do for the next 3 years of high school. Now you take a liberal arts degree, they'll tell you that it's the lowest of the degrees you can get for college. A job will lowball you on how much they pay you because you don't have a degree in anything but many things. And they'll ask you to go back to school to get something more specific before they can pay you. Um, and, you know, just really unnecessary things. But with that being said, trade jobs, sales jobs, um, anything you can do independently, contract jobs, um, coding. I know 3 different coding programs right now that are amping up their marketing to get people to become coders. There are apprenticeship programs. Um, these things are going to become more popular. Computer tech jobs are already really popular, but they're going to become more popular. Um, these are very Taurus. This is very Taurus and Uranus. So right now, astrologically, Taurus is in Uranus. Uranus is actually getting ready to go retrograde. So a lot of this stuff we're going to be rethinking, going over all of these things now, because what's coming up is we have to really begin to understand how we want to move forward in our value systems, our belief systems. Uranus rules astrology, technology, anything electronics. These things are coming up to reevaluate how we're going to move forward. Money, how we make our money. Is it important to make our money in this way? Um, these things are going to be coming up for review right now. And entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is going to be a really good time to build yourself up. My grandfather had a third grade education. He came down here from Memphis and got his certification in theology and became a minister. It was him and I want to say like four other guys who, they inherited the pyramid program. And what they did was they started in one community, got a church, built up clientele. One person became the minister there. They went to the next community, got a church, built up, and next and the next and the next until my father got his own and did it for himself. And that church still stands today. Um, and it used to be that way. My grandfather's mother, she knit for a living. She made their own clothes, and she would use that to to get milk and groceries, whatever it was she needed. We call that the bartering system. With this Taurus and Uranus energy, this is going to become very popular again. We're going to barter our services. Um, Money is going to go through a depletion. Bitcoin, because it's more independent, that actually might become more popular, but it'll fall before it rises. Um, Even in investing, you'll see a great fall before it rises. Um, Especially now that Uranus is going into retrograde, because it's all going to be in review. How important is it? How are we going to use it moving forward? Um, these things are going to these things are going to change in this way. I have a really strong feeling that, and this isn't anything that can be fact checked, this is just my own personal opinion, that this is where we get the idea of, the idea of selling drugs on every corner. Um, I worked in the prison system where we taught a system to young men who sold drugs. And the idea was to show them how the value of the money that they're making, or the value of the money that they're selling their product for, is low compared to, the risk that comes with selling drugs. So we taught them how to up their value and to change the product that they're selling. Um, I was watching oh my God, this was a long time ago, a comedian. I think his name was Aquarius, or he was an Aquarius, but he talked about how he grew up in the 70s, and he grew up never knowing what it was like without having a male figure in his life. He said every corner he went to, he had somebody who he can look up to, somebody he can idolize, somebody who gave him wisdom, advice, mentorship. Um, and then in the late 70s, he began to see the depletion of that, where he watched, his elders, men in his family, get shipped off to war. And once the men left to war, they gave women welfare, and welfare became the man of the house. And when the men returned from war, what happened was, um, you know, if they couldn't get a job or keep a job, which they struggled with from PTSD, and whatever came with becoming a veteran, a lot of the issues that came with that, they were unable to go back to work or find work. And so what happened was the women kicked them out because they didn't want to risk losing their welfare if they weren't going to be taken care of. Um, and this idea that, you know, we've lost our mentorship. When I spoke to a lot of those men who were in prison, there was a poverty thought consciousness that came with it. They was like, it can't be that somebody's so close to one block selling the same product, or, they didn't understand the idea of what it took to, change your prices or make whatever was different about you, to sell their product, to prevent from the violence that came with it, within our own communities at that. Um, they had a very negative connotation of the understanding of what it meant to organize, right? And to build a business or have a business sense, but they all knew somewhere, somehow, intuitively that they were entrepreneurs, right? I think Dr. Claude Anderson talks about this really well, the pyramid system, where you guys heard of this. You know how this works. It's a product. It's one product that a whole bunch of different people are selling. Um, and you have to be very organized and understand what it means to build off of one other's backs and be strong enough and patient enough to understand that system and how it works. So, in saying that, anyways, this is a very important time for us right now, astrologically. I feel like we are waking up from our Neptune slumber. Remember, we're coming out of the Piscean age. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Neptune is the planet of dreams and illusions. We have fallen very far from the tree of understanding who we are. You know, I even taking it a step further, working in the prison system. I know 3 guys right now who spent many years in the prison system, and they read the entire series of the encyclopedia. And they're now paras. They're paralegals. And they're good at it too, but they have the structure. They know how to organize. They understand, you know, um, um, because that's what prison is. Prison is Saturn. It's Saturn energy. It's a facility. It's a facility of structure, of discipline. Um, it helps you understand your value. It forces you to sit down and get to the bottom of who you are, and to help you hone in your skills and why you're passionate about that. um, and I am not in the least bit um, praising prisons at all. We all know the oppressive energy that comes with being in a prison, but I'm just talking about the skills that comes with being in that environment and how I've viewed that, so you can begin to understand as a coach who I am, why this stuff is so important to me, having that experience and what it means to me to help somebody find their career. Um, Saturn, and I really, really hope at the very least that you begin to understand what astrology is, right? Because we're coming from this understanding of lack, and there not being enough. You can have somebody selling the same product and still be different and still make just as much money. There is no such thing as lack. That is an illusion, right? That is an illusion that is being sold to you. This is now we are becoming into the age of Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, and it's an awakening of self and of who you are and the connection to your mission in life. And when you really begin to understand astrology, you understand. I've seen 3 different people have the same sign, same placements, and still be extremely different, even to the way they verbalize things, and express things. That's your difference in life, and to really focus on that, so to build up this lack mentality, to show you that there is no such thing as lack. you know um, and I'm going to do a series of astrology careers for us, for the signs, houses, and planets. Um, it would be really good if you got your just a birth chart, just so that you know where these different elements are playing out for you in your life, and really understand where it's going to play out in your career. But my mission is to really show that there is no need for lack. Um, and I hope this video was informative and very helpful moving forward. If you're interested in getting your birth chart, um, you can send me an email. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.